welcome back to Getaway Day. As always, I am Mason, he is Gautam, and it is Game 6 of the American League Championship Series tonight, October 19th, 2025. Now, before we talk about the championship series, I do believe we probably owe you guys a little bit of analysis on the division series. Gautam and I have both been pretty busy, so we have not been able to actually get together to record a pod for about the last 2 weeks. So we've got a little bit of catching up to do. Gautam, how you doing?
I am doing great. Looking forward to a great Game 6 and happy to be back podcasting. But yes, I would like to talk about those 4 teams that made it to the division series, did not make it to the championship series, but they at least deserve a few minutes of our time here to talk about their seasons, talk about where they're going, stuff like that.
3 of them deserve it.
3 of them deserve it. The Cubs are not deserving
Correct.
of any airtime.
No, the Cubs, they completely let me down by making the postseason, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, you still haven't forgiven them. Yeah,
no, I still haven't forgiven them for being good.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
All right. Well, I do think that we should probably hold one of these teams for the end because they were the last ones to be out, and it took them many, many innings to be out. So let's start with the teams out east. So that would be the Yankees and the Phillies. Both teams that I think people had a lot higher expectations for. Yes, the Yankees were a wild card team, but that was just by the skin of their teeth that they did not win that division. And the Phillies were, I believe, the favorite in the National League, even above the number 1 seed Brewers. So in both of these teams, the Phillies had the bye coming in in the first round. So this was their first and only postseason series this year. The Yankees had made it through the wild card round to play the Blue Jays. Which one of these 2 teams do you want to start with?
Let's talk about the Yankees first, because I think in New York, obviously, sky is falling. People are calling for Brian Cashman's job. People are calling for Aaron Boone's job, just every year.
That's not just every year. Every regular season loss.
Every day.
Yes.
That comes up.
Every day for the last 4 years, people have been calling for these two's head.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. I guess I'm seeing it from the bigger picture, and to me, the Yankees were a fantastic team. Obviously, they had some flaws. They weren't perfect. They didn't get through the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are a good team too, but I'm having trouble seeing where they really went wrong. I don't think they made any fatal mistakes. I think they just lost the series to a really, really good team.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you. I think the biggest flaw that you could see in the Yankees in this particular series was their bullpen. And that's kind of was the case in the wild card series as well. Some of the guys that they had been able to rely upon last year, early season this year, in Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, who historically has been incredible, but since joining the Yankees has just not been that. Those 2 guys have just kind of not been able to shut down the opposing team. I think Weaver had a couple of blown saves, and it just that really got the Yankees in a pretty bad position. But the Yankees didn't do nothing at the deadline. They went out and tried to address all these issues that they saw in the first half of the year with the bullpen. They got David Bednar. They got 2 other closers. Camilo Doval, and then someone else.
Jake Bird, who got sent to the minors a week later.
Okay, well, that one makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, no, to me, if the bullpen is the biggest concern, that's really not a concern. And I think the Yankees have pretty much always had good bullpens year after year. It's been a strength that they've been able to like develop their own guys. They spend money on relievers. They trade for relievers. They're always improving there. Maybe they had a little bit of a down year this year, but I don't think it's a real concern. Like they're solid there
But I
too.
think we can both agree that even though they had the major loss of Garrett Cole before the season, this year was an improved rotation. It was an
Yep.
improved lineup, top to bottom.
Absolutely. Yeah, no question. This was a better team in my opinion than the World Series team from last year. I just thought it was like top to bottom like roster construction. I know A-Rod's out here saying this is the worst roster he's ever seen, but I think he's
It's
just bitter
uh,
at the Yankees. Like
he's
it's
100% just
clearly a
bitter.
it's a great roster, like top to bottom, 1 through 26. This is one of the 5 best rosters in baseball, no question about it.
Yeah, like are there individual players better than Trent Grisham, better than Anthony Volpe, better than 37-year-old Paul Goldschmidt? Yeah, there are. But not every just because you're the Yankees doesn't mean you're going to have the absolute best player at every position.
Yeah.
And these guys clicked for most of the year. They were 94 wins,
93, I think.
93 wins. They ended up trading at the deadline for Ryan McMahon, which was a huge boon to them at third base defensively. And then McMahon is no slouch at the plate either. So that having him bringing in Rosario for the bench really solidified the holes in that lineup. So yeah, legitimately this postseason, it was just kind of the bullpen wasn't able to get it done. Like Cam Schlittler coming up late in the season, absolutely dominated and looked great through the postseason even. Like you have Max Fried who pitched probably the best season he's ever had, and he's had some great seasons. Like this was a really good Yankees team, and I really hope that people don't forget that. Like this is probably the best Yankees team that we've seen since 2009.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really good. But where do the Yankees go from here? Because they already have had a couple guys undergo surgeries, or they're about to undergo surgery. So Anthony Volpe is going to be out for at least 6 months. I think he's not going to be available for opening day. Same with Carlos Rodon. Trent Grisham is a free agent to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say they
Cody
have a
Bellinger is
lot of
going to
free
opt
agents to
out.
be.
Yep,
Goldschmidt, Jonathan Loizaga has a club option, which I don't know if they'll pick up or not at 5 mil.
probably not.
Tim Hill at 3 mil club option, probably not. Luke Weaver, Ahmed Rosario, Ryan Yarbrough, Austin Slater, and Paul Blackburn, all free agents. Devin Williams, Trent Grisham, free agents. Then you're going to have the most expensive arb years of Bednar, Jazz, and Mark Leiter. So they've got some decisions to make here.
Yeah, and the big one is Cody Bellinger, who's almost sure to opt out of his contract, and he was a huge part of the lineup being way better this year, and they're gonna have to like pony up to re-sign him.
Yeah, because his player option is 25 mil, so that's a pay decrease from this year of about 2.5 mil. But he could command 30 plus, probably,
Yeah,
right?
no question. He had an awesome season.
So the last 3 years for him have really brought his value back up.
It's weird though because the 24 season was a down season. Or sorry, the 23 season. Wait,
No,
I'm
23 was
getting my
incredible. 24
yeah,
was a down
23
year
was
again, and then this year was a solid year.
this is a big bounce back, I think, from 24 because if 24 had been a better season, he would have opted out of his contract that year, and he didn't.
Yeah. But I still think now you're looking and seeing 2 of the last 3 years have been really good. And
Mhm.
so now his value is higher than before he went to the Cubs at all, when he had
Mhm.
had 3 consecutive just bad years.
Correct.
So, like, I do think this is the most he's been worth in a long time. And I think teams are going to recognize that. So, but the Yankees would be smart to sign him back. And then on top of that, you've also got Giancarlo, who had a resurgent season himself, but he's 36 years old, going to be in his age 37 season next year, I think. So, or no, next season will be his age 36 season. And they've still got a lot of money on the table with him, but it's more just like, when does Giancarlo consider retirement? Because I can't imagine he's too far off from it.
Well,
Like,
I think he'll
if I
play
were
out the
him, I
rest of
would
his
go through the
right?
contract.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say that's through what, 27 or 28?
27. He's
27.
making he'll make 29 mil next year, 25 the year after, and then has a 25 club option for the year after that.
Yeah, but the other big storyline is like, hey, these are Judge's prime years. We don't know how long he's going to keep this up. The guy's 33 already. We need to win now. It's getting drastic, and I understand that perspective as well, because it's true. Like, it seems like Judge can just keep doing it, and he likely will be really, really good. But maybe we've already seen the best Judge seasons. What what evidence do we have that he's going to have a better season or an equivalent season to what he's done the last several years?
Well, the only thing that I would say is that this was arguably his best season ever.
Yeah.
So that might be the evidence right there, is
Yeah.
that he's still getting better. Yeah, he hasn't hit 62 home runs again, and very possibly won't ever do that again. But how many other players have done that?
Barry Bonds, basically.
Yeah, Barry Bonds, Sammy
Yeah.
Sosa, Mark McGwire, and him.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Right.
if he doesn't hit 62 home runs again, who cares? The
Yeah,
dude's
no.
still hitting 50 a year and has for 4 straight years. Like, he'll be, I think, the active home run leader by the time that he retires. Like, because he's at what now? He's at 368?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Giancarlo Stanton, I believe, is the active home run leader, and he is at...
He's at 450, right?
I believe so. 453.
Okay.
So
yeah.
less than 100 to catch up. Stanton's hitting about 20 a year right now. Judge is hitting about 50 a year right now.
Yeah.
It's only going to take 3 years for him to catch up.
Yeah, true.
So, but yeah, so I get it. I do think we're probably getting close to the point where you'll start to see Judge decline, but I don't think we're going to necessarily see his power decline, because the dude's frame is just massive. As long as he can still put bat to ball, the ball's going to leave the yard. It's some of the other parts of his game that are probably going to dwindle first. I would bet his ability to cover the outfield is probably the first thing to go.
I think we've already seen that. I think he rated as one of the worst defensive outfielders this year. And that's with his move to right field. Like, it's already happening. It's not showing up in the offensive game yet. And I hate to be the downer on Judge, because I love him as a player. I just think that his drop off might not be graceful. It might be like a precipitous decline. It might just all happen at once. And he might still have the power and everything, but like, he will be a very different player than the player we've seen the last few years.
So I honestly think that Giancarlo Stanton is probably the single best equivalence. Like, because Giancarlo was
tall slugger.
Yeah, tall slugger, was MVP caliber, great not great, solid outfielder in his younger days, and then injuries and age and just everything kind of seems to be going against him, and now he just had his best season in probably 5 years. Hit 23 I have it pulled up, 24 home runs this year, across 77 games. Like, that's kind of what I think the fall off for Judge will be, is he'll still be incredibly productive when he's on the field.
That's also fair, yeah. we got to always be concerned about Judge's availability to
Yeah,
play.
and kind of the other guy that would be a pretty fair comp in my opinion would be Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest baseball players we've ever seen on the field. And then injuries and some of those other bits of his game that made him elite go away, and now he's just solidly good. He's not stealing bases, he's not great in the outfield anymore. His
I think
average has
Mike
fallen
Trout, I
off, but is still
was gonna
hitting
say he had
26
like
home runs.
one of the worst strikeout rates in the league this year.
32%, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then he still walks 15% of the time with 26 homers. And so, like, there's still good parts of his game. And that's just kind of how all these superstars age.
Yeah.
Like, Griffey kind of did the same thing, did he not?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so a Judge fall off is not going to be the same as like an Arenado fall off. But it's not going to be Nelson Cruz because that man was just insane. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever see a Nelson Cruz again. So, all right. Anything else in the
Phillies.
Yankees, or should we switch to one of the other division series losers?
Let's go talk about the Phillies.
The Phillies. Okay.
So the Phillies, they had equally high expectations as the Yankees, but they're seemingly in a different spot, at least the way I see it, because this was like an all-in season. While the Yankees, they're still like returning a lot of their core. Most of their guys are coming back next year. The Phillies, they've got some really key free agents like Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto and Ranger Suarez, guys that have been part of these great Phillies teams the last several years. And with the Phillies, it seems like every year in the playoffs, they've not really progressed past. They really haven't done well in the playoffs, and they've almost like done worse every year since 22 when they were in the World Series because they made the World Series, then they made the Championship Series, then they made the Division Series the last like couple of years, and they haven't really advanced past that round. So it's been a struggle, and yeah, the team is just getting old right now.
Yeah.
And they've got
Anyone
to
that they've
make
been
some
able
changes.
anyone that they've been able to rely on heavily for the last few years is pretty much gone. Like they're two major contract guys. They're Bryce Harper, Trey Turner. Yeah, they're still going to be around for another 100 years, I think.
Yeah, give or take.
Harper through 31 and Turner through 33.
Yeah.
But Castellanos has not panned out in
They've
the way
already
that they had
announced
hoped.
basically that they're gonna cut him if they can't trade him. They already said that essentially.
So you're losing Castellanos, Schwarber, possibly Realmuto if you don't re-sign him. Couple guys in your quite a few relievers. Matt Strom has a vesting option, which I think is probably vesting. I'm not sure what the. But then Romano's gone. Tim Mesa's gone. Jose Alvarado has a club option of $9 million, but after the PED suspension, I'm going to guess they don't pick that up.
Right.
So, like, they've got a lot of guys that they're going to have to replace, and with
I'm
Harper,
thinking specifically, they're like outfield, right? Like, I'm pretty sure they only have one outfielder. If you subtract Castellanos, assume he's gone, they only have one outfielder I can think of that's on the roster, and that's Brandon Marsh.
Yes, because
Bader's a free agent.
Because
Kepler's a free agent. Yep.
So now something I did see, and this is just roster resource projecting right now. They think Justin Crawford is going to end up being a starter next year at
Yeah, I
21
think
years old, which Justin
it's
Crawford is a pretty big prospect. He's up to number 4 in their organization. So he's one of their best prospects. But is he necessarily going to be a end all be all superstar player?
not from day one, not
No.
not right away. They're gonna be the growing pains, and I think the 26 Phillies season, it's gonna be interesting to see how they balance wanting to win with wanting to develop their guys because I feel like they have to start giving their young players a chance because for the last few seasons it's been like we want to win now. We're not really worrying about the development, and they haven't really had contributions from any of the prospects from the farm, right? They trade away prospects. They made another big trade this offseason to trade for Joan Duran, and they've been making trades like that, and we've been kind of waiting for prospect impact. So like Justin Crawford, I think we'll finally see Andrew
Andrew
Painter
Painter.
get a chance in the rotation. Like they need real contributions from the farm, otherwise I can't imagine that things are gonna go differently. But they're also good. They're still gonna be a good team for sure.
Yeah. And like I think we're gonna end up seeing Aiden Miller at some point. Um but he's shortstop prospect though. So unless like they have something with their second base, third base situation, Alec Boehm, I don't really know what their plans with him for the future are because he's not the guy that they thought he was going to be when he was a prospect.
I don't think they love him, and I don't know if they love Bryson Stott either. Like they both haven't played that well.
Yeah, so are we going to end up seeing Aiden Miller take one of their spots?
Could be, yeah.
At which point we've got two 22 or younger prospects as a starter at the beginning of the year for this Phillies team. This was basically the end of their championship window. Like,
Yeah. Yep,
do
they
I
got to
think
revamp it.
do I think that they can win a World Series before Bryce retires? Yes, I do. Because they've got 6 more years to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in 26, I don't think. Something big would have to happen for that to occur.
Yeah, and how about this for something big? What if John Middleton looks at what happened and he goes, "We just got beat by the Dodgers. We gotta spend stupid money," and then he goes and signs Kyle Tucker to play right field.
See, now that would be a good move. The one thing
That
that I kind of want to see them do, though, is I want to see them pair a Kyle Tucker with some actual young players. Don't go get 3 Kyle Tuckers. Now, 3 Kyle Tuckers don't exist, obviously,
don't
but
exist.
that's
Yeah.
what they tried to do last time. They tried to get 3 32, 33-year-old plus slugging quasi outfielders and build a slugging lineup that could just out hit anybody in baseball, and it didn't work. Like it got them to it got them to a World Series.
Yeah.
And then it got them close to a World Series, and then it got them to the playoffs, but their best chance was that first year, and then every year that they age, they get a little bit worse. Like you can't just stack your lineup with already aging guys. It doesn't it gives you one really good shot and then a couple of outside chances, and then you have to wash, rinse, repeat. Put Kyle Tucker with Justin Crawford.
Yeah.
Put him
And there is the
Aiden
opportunity,
Miller.
right? Like we talked about, there's only one outfielder on the roster right now.
Yeah. And they could go and they could try and make some crazy trade if they have to. Like, I kind of think that maybe it would be best for them, while they do not want to do it, to trade Andrew Painter straight up for a top prospect outfielder as well. And
interesting,
because they have such a position of strength in pitching. It's aging, but pitching doesn't seem to age the same way that hitting does, especially recently. as long as you get these guys that can learn how to change and how to pitch differently, and I think Nola and Wheeler are those guys. Christopher Sanchez has become their ace. Jesus Luzardo has shown that he is a very, very talented guy. Like, they have the youth in their rotation that they're not going to completely screw themselves if they package Painter for a young, really, really good outfielder.
Interesting. I guess I don't know if they have that depth anymore. Things are a lot different now that Wheeler had thoracic outlet surgery, and then Nola was horrible this year. Like, I don't know if we can count on those guys anymore. I agree, Sanchez and Luzardo are good, but they need the next wave of the pitchers, right? Like, they already traded Mick Gable, and
Well,
they
and
traded other.
they're gonna have to put Griff McGarry on the 40 man this year because he's Rule 5 eligible. Um, Moises Chase, I think, is his name. Um, he is one, or he's their number 3 prospect. He's the number 95 prospect in baseball, and he's already on the 40 man. Like, he'll probably get a chance next year after he's back from his injury. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but so I don't know. I think they've got enough like high level prospects that are already on the 40 man that I think they do have that youth movement coming anyway. Do you want to move the guy that is like the most surefire thing you have? No. No, you don't. Absolutely not. But if you're trying to open a championship window in Bryce Harper's still like quasi prime years,
Yeah, we've already maybe missed a boat on that.
yeah, but you definitely feel better with him at 33 than you do at 39.
Yeah.
So you need to reopen that window sooner. And the single best way that you have to do that is your biggest trade piece in a position of strength for your club.
Okay.
I don't think
Well,
it happens. It's just something that I hope Dombrowski at least thinks about.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's thinking about those things because that is his style to trade away prospects. One other topic on the Phillies: what do they do with Kyle Schwarber? Because Kyle Schwarber, he's getting older, but he's achieved cult status in Philadelphia. Like, he is like a special player in Philly's history, even within 4 years, because of what he's done, like in the regular season, hitting all the home runs, and then also the postseason success that he's had, just like some ridiculously memorable home runs in postseason history for the Phillies.
So I think saying that he's only reached cult status in Philly is doing him a disservice. He reached cult status in Philly, Washington, and Chicago.
What about Boston?
No, they hate him. No, I forgot he was in Boston, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I think Schwarber is maybe the closest thing to the Nelson Cruz that I
yeah.
said we're never going to have again. I think Schwarber's the closest to that. And I think other teams recognize that, and he'll get paid very well.
Oh yeah, no
And
question.
the Phillies would be stupid to not try and bring him back. Like, especially if they get rid of Castellanos and they put together some semblance of an actual outfield where you don't have to go through the mind games of, do we have to throw Schwarber in left for some reason? If you can get past that point, you throw him a bag and you say you're just here for the rest of your career. No ifs, ands, or buts. Keep hitting home runs. We'll put up a statue of you, probably in the it won't be a statue. We'll put neon of you inside the Liberty Bell.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you do something like
Well,
that.
fun story on the Schwarber. He hit that home run like onto the like way out of Dodger Stadium,
Mhm.
9 days before Shohei did it, and they literally had just put up the sign with the feet distance of that home run, like in Dodger Stadium, like 2 days before Shohei's big game on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, But it's crazy that that has happened like 3 times ever and 2 times in this postseason.
Who was the other one to do it?
It was, believe it was Willie Stargell.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a cool group to be in.
Yeah, right?
I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, and Otto Kemp is currently penciled in as the DH for the Phillies next year as well.
That's not happening.
So you throw a bag at Schwarber,
Yeah.
just period. Is it Diwali right now?
It is, yeah.
Okay, because I keep hearing fireworks. Um,
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Um, all right, so we do still have two more teams. Let's go to the Cubs. This will be quick. They suck. They're at the end of their window. There's no need to talk anymore about them. Thank you. Now, time to
Yeah.
talk about the Tigers.
Okay. Let's talk about the Tigers.
You were supposed to cut in with something about the Cubs.
Well, yeah, so the Cubs, they reached, game 5 against the Brewers, and they lost that game, but, I would say it was a successful season because they got back to the playoffs for the first time in a while. They won a playoff series. They had 5, home playoff games, and they were so close to advancing and taking the beating from the Dodgers because I assume that would have happened to them too, like it happened to Brewers. But I
Yeah.
think the Brewers and the Cubs are gonna like still be up top in that division next year. They're they're very solid teams and they're kind of returning all their players. The Cubs, they got to figure out how they're going to replace um, Kyle Tucker, assuming they don't re-sign him. And then also one of the biggest challenges that they faced in the postseason was that they didn't really have the pitching depth to handle it
And
because they
now
lost.
they'll naturally improve by not attrition, but
The opposite of
they'll
attrition.
get Justin Steele back.
Yeah, they'll get Justin Steele back. They'll get Cade Horton back, who had a fantastic rookie season. He may even get better next year. Um, and then you've still got your veterans like Jameson Tyon and Matthew Boyd, but they also need to like figure out what they're doing with some of the younger starters, like Ben Brown. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? Um, and I think they need to use some of that prospect capital that they sort of didn't use in midseason. They didn't go out and get a starter, even though it was their biggest need. They've got to do it either in free agency by signing like an actual strikeout pitcher like a Dylan Cease, or go trade for a front of rotation starter like Joe Ryan. Like that's the move the Cubs urgently need to make because their offense is good and they're returning basically all their players next year other than Tucker.
So, question with Shota.
Yeah.
So
He's got the weirdest
Shota,
option ever.
yeah, because he has a player option, and if he declines it, the team can pick up a 3-year club option.
Nope. It works opposite of that. So the Cubs have first the club option to make
Okay,
it 3 more years. If they decline it, then he has a player option for next
for
season
26 and 27.
for 26 and 27. But the thinking is if the Cubs decline the option, then he will also decline his option and go be a free agent. So, but they have a very interesting decision on their hands with that one because of how much he struggled in the second half. It seemed like a no-brainer like 2 or 3 months ago that they would clearly pick that one up, but based on Jed's um, postseason interview, it doesn't sound like it's a no-brainer anymore, and it's almost like they haven't decided yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's probably the.
That's a big one.
I was gonna say that's probably the biggest thing that I'm seeing just looking at their roster for next year because the lineup is gonna return. Just
Yeah.
fully top to bottom with the exception of Kyle Tucker.
Right.
And I think there's been some reporting that's basically already said the Cubs are not going to offer even.
Yeah, I mean with with Tucker's second half, it almost leaves like less people are clamoring for Kyle Tucker to be back with the Cubs just because he had the injuries and stuff, and there's other concerns. I'm not expecting him to re-sign with the Cubs at all.
Yeah. I'm not either. Which I do think is going to make the Cubs a smidgen worse.
Oh, it's going to make them a lot worse. They got to reallocate those resources. They got to do something about it.
Yeah, and the rotation would be the single best spot for them to do that.
They're missing that front of rotation starter because they've got a lot of solid pitchers, but they don't have that one guy that you're like, I want this guy starting my deciding game.
Now it'll be interesting with Steele coming back if he can be that guy, because he was that guy for a year.
He was that guy, but he's not the guy that you think of, right? As like this guy's an ace.
No, he's not the guy you think of, but how many teams actually have that guy that you think of as an ace versus guys that have like an actual, because I don't think of Gosman like that, and Gosman's been an ace for years.
Yeah.
Like there's teams that you think, oh, they just have a bunch of number two guys, but one of their number two guys plays just as well as some other teams' aces. You don't have like 30 Paul Skeens across the league, but you've got like 15 Zach Wheelers.
I don't know about that.
You get my point, though.
Yeah, I get it.
Sonny Gray is an ace, but Sonny Gray is not a Paul Skeens level ace.
That's fair, yeah. But I guess where I put Steele in the pecking order, he's like maybe a lower tier ace. He's not like a true top 15 pitcher in baseball. He's like a top 20,
but if you're top 30, you're an ace.
It depends on your definition.
Yeah, but there's 30 teams, and each team has to have an SP1.
Yeah, but do the Rockies have an ace? They have a bunch of number
because
sevens.
Another team has two aces.
Yeah.
So I would argue if you're a top 30 pitcher, you're an ace.
Okay.
Because that's just how, if every team had one ace, there would be 30. Some teams double up. Some teams have none. So.
Well, I guess I'm, as a fan of the Cubs, I want to be greedy and I want to have a upper echelon ace for this team because I think that's the area where they could use the most improvement. I don't see it being like an offensive player.
That's fair. That's fair. And I do think that level of ace is kind of where you can make the biggest difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if you have a number 1 and a number 37, that's better than someone who has a number 26 and a number 38.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I get where you're coming from. I just also think that we're not giving Steele enough credit.
Okay, fair.
So, yeah. All right, so we got one more team to go, and then we got to talk about the new stuff.
Speaking of aces, we're talking about a top 2 pitcher in baseball with this team, the Tigers, and Tarek Skubal.
So it's actually, I could argue that he is number 3.
Who's the other guy?
I won't, but I could. Garrett Crochet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I still personally think Tarek is number 2, but there is a very solid argument that he is not a top 2 pitcher.
Yeah, you can make the argument for 1, 2, or 3 probably for all 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, well,
it's pretty awesome.
I think the clearest argument for a number 1 is Skeens. So I would say you got like 66% Skeens number 1, and then you've got like 17% for both Crochet and Tarek at number 1.
Yeah. Well, I guess one area where Scooble has the edge over both of them is his postseason performances, which have been incredible for now 2 straight years. Basically, every game he's pitched in the postseason, he's been dominant. He had the start against Cleveland this year where he struck out, I think, 14. Um, he pitched that game 5, crazy game 5 deciding game against the Mariners, and he was phenomenal over 6 innings. He capped that off with like a 100+ mile per hour pitch on his like 100th pitch of the game. Um, he already has like cemented himself as an all-time great postseason pitcher, which I think is pretty cool. But now the Tigers, there's already been like some reports that they may be considering trading him, which seems crazy on the surface, and it probably is fairly unlikely to happen. But you sort of understand it looking at the rest of this Tigers team. You're kind of like, okay, Scooble's good, but they need a lot of help outside of him, especially in the rotation.
Yeah, because like Casey Mize is probably the best he's ever been, but he's
Yeah,
still not like,
he's a number 4.
yeah. Troy Melton very possibly gonna turn into something good because he's looking pretty good. Reese
Yeah,
Olson and Kiter Montero are the two where I think you can definitely stand an
they're
upgrade.
all they're all 4s and 5s, right?
Yeah,
Every guy they have.
but and then their bullpen could use a little work.
Could use a lot of work.
Their lineup could use a little work.
Could use some work. Yep.
But also this lineup did prove a lot of people wrong about it. They proved that they can play at an elite level. Torque probably did actually deserve to be a 1-1, it turns out. It took him a little while to get there, but he's still only 26. Riley Green probably deserved to be a 1-1, and he was a 1-5. Colt Keith is a solid everyday player. Kerry Carpenter is like the cult hero of the team.
Yeah.
Like, you have good guys there. Dylan Dingler is proving to be a good catcher.
Yep.
It's kind of in that McKinstry, Winsfield Perez, Parker Meadows, Javi Baez, where that's where you could stand massive upgrade to bolster what you already have.
Yeah, and the good news is the Tigers have a great farm system, and they've got Kevin McGonigal, and
They've got Max Clark, Jackson Jobe,
Yeah.
Theron Lozano, or Lorenzo. Sorry, I can't read. It is kind of nice to see that they have guys that can replace the former top prospects that didn't pan out. Trey Sweeney, Jace Young. Like, those guys could turn into solid everyday players, but they're not the guys that you're going to probably want if you were building a World Series contender. And I think this Tigers team has a good start. I think they're at the beginning of a championship window. I think Riley Green is probably the main guy that you're looking at his free agent status and when that's going to be. But I think it's still a ways off, isn't it?
We got a few more years for sure.
I'm gonna say, did they sign him to full contract or no?
No, they did not.
So he's still in.
He's probably got 3 more years.
He's ARB eligible for the first time next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got 3 more years of Riley before you have to figure out what you're going to do with him, or you just extend him now. Would be what I would do personally. I think he's kind of the guy that you should lock down.
This would be a fantastic time to do it before he gets more expensive.
Yeah.
From the team's perspective, I think this team's still in the building phase because they've still got those top prospects that are probably going to make an impact next year, and then they also don't feel like a team that's going to go out and spend a whole bunch in free agency. They're probably going to keep it on the down low, and but the advantage that the Tigers have is they have almost the easiest path back to the playoffs because they play in a sub like the worst division basically.
Yeah. The only thing that could make the division worse is by adding the A's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you're right about Scooble though being kind of the
It's just
most
kind of like your
pressing.
painter it's like your painter idea, right? It's like that would truly like revamp the entire it could revamp the entire team, but it's hard to
But
like the idea of
the
trading your
painter
best
idea
player.
only works because they have Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, and this would be giving up 1 year of Scooble and basically any chance of re-signing him long term.
Can you imagine the haul on Scoopable though?
It would
Even
be a
though it's only
massive
1 year.
haul, but like this is the most surefire thing you're ever going to have. A guy who's already doing it. And you'd be trading him for 10 lottery tickets.
Yeah. But the chances of Scooball re-signing are seem extremely low. Just knowing the Tigers' recent spending habits, like they're not paying up for big name free agents.
But I feel like Scooble might be different. I think Scooble might be their current where it's they're gonna want to keep him. Like I realized they didn't keep Verlander, they traded him later, but he had signed his first
Yeah.
big deal with them, and then they traded him. And I think Scooble, first of all, ARB 3 is next year. ARB 2, he got 10 mil. So if they can convince him to sign an extension now for more than what he's expected to get in ARB 3, seems like the best way to do that. Then you have to
Oh, you
continue to show that you are going to improve your team after that. But I think that they can and should keep him there. He feels like one of those guys to me that you don't really want to see in a different uniform. I want to see them improve with him.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But have you heard of this team called the Los Angeles Dodgers?
No, tell me more.
I think he would look like a great Dodger in 2027.
But he'd be what? Their number 8 starter?
Yeah, he'd be their number 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd rather be a number 1 than a number 8.
Yeah.
So, now speaking of, we should probably move and talk about that team.
Let's do it.
So the Los Angeles Dodgers of Chavez Ravine. I think that's their official title. It's pretty
I
similar
believe
to
so.
like the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yes.
They are once again going to the World Series behind a starting rotation of Japanese legend Shohei Ohtani, Japanese legend Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Korean legend Blake Snell,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh legend Tyler Glasnow,
Right.
and Japanese legend closer Roki Sasaki. Not to mention like a pretty solid lineup with like a lot of power, a lot of superstars, couple MVPs. You know, this Dodgers team might be fairly good. I think maybe
Yeah.
they kind of just made Milwaukee look like the NL Central of old whenever they were all just mid and accidentally making the postseason.
Yeah,
Except
they
this
made the
Milwaukee team was the number 1 seed in all of baseball.
yeah, they made the Brewers lineup look like the Pirates or something. It was crazy. It was the worst LCS offensive performance in history. And that was based on this starting rotation of Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Otani, games 1 through 4, who gave up a combined 2 runs
Yeah,
in the
so
4 games.
let's just look at that real quick. So
8 innings for Snell.
game 1, Blake Snell, 8 innings, 1 hit, 10 Ks.
Yeah.
Roki Sasaki, 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run. and then Trinan with a 1-out save. Pretty good game one right there. Dodgers didn't score too many runs. That was a 2-1 ball game. Game two, Yoshinobu Yamamoto said, Snell, hold my sake. 9 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks.
By the way,
Complete game.
first complete game in 8 years in the postseason by any team.
Freddie Peralta, the ace for Milwaukee, on the other hand, 5 2/3, 3 runs on 5 hits. Not ideal, but not the absolute blow up start that maybe you would think you would get in this series, with the Dodgers just absolutely rolling over everybody. The Dodgers only scored 3 off of him. But the Dodgers ended up winning that game 5-1. Game 3. This is the absolute worst start the Dodgers got in the series. Tyler Glasnow, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run.
In 8 Ks.
In 8 Ks. And then Vesia, Trinan, Banda, they all get holds. Actually, technically, I think Vesia qualified for the win. Yeah, how'd that happen?
They weren't winning or something? I don't know. It was a tie game when Glasnow left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they didn't score until the bottom of the 6th. Okay, so Vesia got the win, and then Roki got his 3rd career save, 3rd save of the postseason. And then the game 4. This is the big one though. Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings, 2 hits, 10 Ks, no runs given up. And then just casually on the offensive side of the ball, this man hit a 447-foot home run, a 469-foot home run, and then I believe hit one to Mars.
Yeah. And they were all off 3 different types of pitches. I think the first one was off a Quintana 79 mile per hour like curveball. There was one off a slider, the long one, and then one off a 99 mile per hour fastball off Trevor McGill. So 3 different pitch types.
I got the distance wrong on the first one. I said 447. That's way too far. It was 446.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, and then the third one though, that was 427 to just barely left to center.
Yeah.
Shohei, it's so difficult to talk about him because there's no more words that actually describe this man.
Yeah.
He's so good.
He's so good. That's all we can say, basically. Because we've already had this conversation about other stuff that he's done, how many countless times. He just continues to find new ways to amaze us. And it's crazy. We're seeing a legend.
Oh, and also, he's just casually hitting pretty poorly in the postseason, hitting 220.
I was going to say, he won the championship series MVP with 3 of his 5 hits being in that last game. He had 2 other hits otherwise, and one was in game 4. I think it was a triple. So like just on the back of this one game, and don't get me wrong, well deserved. He absolutely should have been the championship series MVP. Yeah. But it was all based on this like crazy one game that people are regularly calling the greatest baseball game ever played, which I think is an interesting claim to make, but I also can't disagree with it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you would have to maybe add in the word greatest individual baseball performance.
Yeah.
Because there's been better games.
Yeah.
Not by an individual.
Both by one guy. Yeah.
I was really hoping they'd send him out onto the mound for the 7th. I understand why they didn't.
They did send him out for the 7th. They did. He gave up 2 base runners, yeah.
Right. I forgot about that. It's almost like that was 2 days ago. But yeah, just Shohei, there's no more things left to be said about him.
Yeah,
Like,
all we can do is like I'm super excited for the World Series. I want to see him pitch a World Series game. That's the thing we haven't seen yet.
yeah, and like everyone had for a couple years now, people have been like, yeah, he's an amazing hitter. Yeah, he can pitch really well, but he's never really had that many opportunities to do them at the same time because of various injuries, this, that, the other. And they're like, well, it's probably just a one off. He can't replicate it. And then this year, he 55 home runs, does his rehab at the major league level, ends up getting to the point where he's pitching into the seventh inning. Like, he had a 287 ERA and 47 innings in the regular season. Yeah, he didn't pitch the whole season, but now we're seeing him pitch the best we've ever seen him in his career in the postseason for
Yeah,
the
he was straight up
Dodgers.
toying with the Brewers hitters in this game. Like he was throwing 7 different pitches. His splitter he threw 10 times, and 5 of them he got swings. They did not make contact on any of those swings on that pitch. It was just like incredible. It was such a good pitching performance. The line doesn't even do it justice. I think he was just totally on top of his game, and I just it's amazing.
So I have a few stats questions I want to ask you. This is more quiz style. Can you tell me how much WAR Shohei put up this season as a pitcher? F WAR, not R WAR.
You said like 47 innings or something.
47 innings.
Uh, I'll say 2.5.
1.9, which
1.9.
I still think that that's pretty dang good.
Oh yeah, I mean he finished the season on a crazy run. His ERA was like 1 point something over the last 6 or 7 starts.
He struck out 1/3 of the batters that he faced this year in his 47 innings, which is higher than his career strikeout rate of 31. He didn't hardly walk anyone this year, and now he's locked in. And I believe 6 days rest puts him in line for game 1.
But why mess with what's working? Go Snell, Yamamoto, Glass now, Otani. Do it again.
That's fair, and they probably should, but I kind of want him to start Otani in game 1 and then set him up to maybe come in and close game 7.
Yeah, yeah. No, that'd be cool.
Or actually, start him game 2 so that he's in line to start or to come in game 7 if need be.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the other stats that I wanted to question you about. So Blake Snell, we just talked about him. 8 innings, 1 hit. Absolutely stellar performance in game 1. Blake Snell is also a 2 or 3-time Cy Young, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. Now, in your general opinion, is Snell more dominant in the regular season where he's won 2 Cy Youngs, or in the postseason in his career where he has a total of 15 games, 13 games started?
Well, my memory of Blake Snell is that he's been really good in the postseason, and I know that when Blake Snell is good, he is like really, really good, and that happens in the regular season too. But I'm gonna say his postseason numbers are even better just because it's just a smaller sample, and he probably dominated.
That is, I believe, a fair assessment of it. Can you tell me Blake Snell's career postseason ERA?
220.
258. So not too far off. His FIP is a bit higher at 312 in the postseason. His regular season numbers for ERA in his career. Any guess?
320.
So close. 315.
Oof. Good guess.
And his career FIP.
3 27.
It's even closer, 331.
Okay.
So Snell is, in fact, a better postseason pitcher than he is a regular season pitcher. Obviously, in the NLCS here, he had an ERA of 0.00.
With a
Same
.13
in
whip.
what?
With a .13 whip.
In the CS?
In the CS, yeah.
Yes, that is correct. Now, the division series, also 0.00 ERA. Wild card series, he had a 257. Now, can you tell me in his career what round of the postseason, including the league, has been his bugaboo?
I'm going to say it's like the first round or something.
Actually, the second round, specifically when he played in the American League. He had a division series ERA in the American League across two different series of 4.35. That's his worst. Across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different postseason series. The only ones that, or the only two that he has ever actually had a bad start in is that American League Division Series. And
Yeah.
I think it was his 2020 start against the Yankees that he gave up 4 runs in 5 innings. That is his worst postseason start of his career. So I just wanted to talk about that just to kind of put in perspective just how good Blake Snell specifically is in the postseason. Now you're putting him in a rotation where he's not even the best one.
Yeah, he's pitched like the best one though this postseason.
But Yamamoto pitched better than him,
I guess. Yeah.
So, like, that's the buzzsaw that you're facing in the Dodgers. That's why the Brewers were not able to even kind of keep pace. Because the Brewers, they're not the best hitters in the world. They never have been. They never will be. I say never will be. They might be at some point. They're not. Now we have the best hitting team in the postseason and the best hitting Mariners team of all time in Game 6 of the division or of the championship series as we speak. Top of 2, tie game, still at 0. Logan Gilbert and Trey Savage. Now, these two teams are both incredibly good. They are now at the massive disservice of having to face a fully rested Dodgers rotation. Depending on how quickly it takes them to actually close out the series. If the Mariners win it tonight, fantastic. They have an extra day off. If they don't, they've got to rock out their next best starter again tomorrow. Then they have 1 day off. Or 2 days off.
World Series doesn't start till Friday.
Yeah, so that'd be 2 days, right? Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. Right?
What about
No,
Tuesday?
today's Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they'd have 3 days off. But if the Mariners can close it out tonight, I think they might have a better chance against the Dodgers. But I think either way, these two teams are going to struggle. So I have up. Whoops, I just accidentally minimized it. I have up, this is from Sports Illustrated, which probably isn't the best, but it has the odds via DraftKings. So the odds to win the World Series, I'm sure you could probably guess the favorites in order. Dodgers, Mariners, because they're closer to getting to the World Series, and then the Jays. The Dodgers have an implied probability of winning the World Series of 65%. That's pretty significant. The Dodgers are also hitting 256 as a team, the second best offense in the postseason, behind only the Blue Jays. But they have a team ERA of 2.45. Do you know the team ERAs of the Mariners and the Blue Jays in the postseason?
Well, I know that the Blue Jays have had a couple of games where they gave a bunch of runs, including one in this series. So I'm guessing their ERA is not that great. I'm guessing it's like 4.
4.76.
Okay.
Now, do you know
And
the
the
Mariners
Mariners,
ERA?
theirs is probably not good either because of bullpen. I'm going to say 4.25.
4.18.
Okay.
So that's the matchup you're looking at, basically, is second best hitting team in the postseason versus the single best pitching team in the postseason. Or not versus, sorry. The second best hitting, best pitching against either the best hitting team with one of the worst ERAs in the postseason, but a bunch of really good pitchers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They can win it. It's going to be tough is kind of my main point here.
So here's what I'm thinking with this with the matchup. So if Seattle plays the Dodgers, I think they've got a better shot at being able to score some runs because they've got more of like a power approach. And kind of like we saw with the Brewers are a team that don't really have a bunch of power guys. Like they have a few guys that can hit homers, but that's not really their game. Their game is more similar to the Jays, kind of string together base hits. And that seems like it's going to be impossible to do against this Dodgers rotation. So might as well try to hit some homers. And the Mariners can do that better than the Jays can.
You say that. There are a couple guys right now that are doing pretty well at the hitting homers. George Springer having a resurgent season, and he took a 97-mile-an-hour sinker to the knee in game 5, sorry, and is probably hobbling a bit, but he could hit some home runs. Vladdy's hit 5 home runs this postseason. He's tied with Shohei for the most. Like, Toronto definitely has that power as well, and I think I actually feel a little bit more confident in them being able to string together multiple home runs than I do the Mariners. Mariners, I really see about 2 guys who I can realistically rely on to drive the ball deep.
2 guys.
You're
not giving the other hero of Friday enough credit, Eugenio Suarez, who hit 2 home runs.
Eugenio is one of the 2.
Well, Cal Raleigh has 3 homers in the championship series. Josh Naylor has 2 homers in the championship series. Julio Rodriguez has 2 home runs in the championship series. Randy has a homer.
Okay, that's fair. But
they got a lot of power.
But I'm just looking at this versus the Dodgers, and who is going to be able to reliably make contact regularly?
That's not a good strategy. It didn't work for the Brewers. I don't think it's going to work for anyone.
Well, agreed. So if you run into only 1 home run. If you can make contact multiple times and run into him, that's a lot of home runs. So kind of that whole contact thing does matter a lot.
Contact for homers, yeah. And I take the Mariners over the Jays.
Really? All right.
Easily, yeah. They were way better as a power team this year.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't know. I'm now just kind of looking at this from what is the better storyline. And that's, I think, the last question I have for you tonight, because there's 2 great storylines here. No matter who makes it to the World Series against the Dodgers, you have either the Mariners, who have never made it past championship series. And in fact, they've only made it to the championship series now twice, including this year. 2001 was the only other time.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's right. Is it not?
I thought in 1995 they played in the championship series, but I don't know for sure.
Mm. You look that up and then just make me look stupid as I talk. So you have the Mariners, who have never been to the World Series. In a season where they have a guy who broke Ken Griffey Jr.'s home run record for the club, Mickey Mantle's home run record for switch hitters, Salvador Perez's record for home runs by a catcher, and reached that magic number of 60, which has only been done by a handful of players throughout history. That is an incredible storyline. If they can somehow shut down the Dodgers lineup with a rotation of Logan Gilbert, who is so good, Luis Castillo, who is so good, George Kirby, who is coming off his worst start, I think, of his career, maybe, but also is so good, and Bryce Miller. It doesn't have the same gravitas, maybe, as listing off the Dodgers rotation, but I would say that it is arguably up there with the Dodgers as one of the best rotations in the league.
Yeah.
So that's one possible matchup. The other possible matchup, a team who, since I believe 1970, when they came into existence, or 1969, I think, for them, 70 for the Mariners, because the Pilots, who became the Brewers, were 69. And then they moved to the next year. The Mariners, yeah, history. Cool. Now you've got the Jays, who won back-to-back World Series in 90 and 91, and then have not been back since, correct?
Yeah, I guess so.
So either way, you have a team who has not been to a World Series since at least 91. That is 34 years. Older than both you and I have been alive.
92, 93, by the way. Those were the Jays series wins.
92, 93. Okay, my bad. Not 90, 91. That was actually, I think 90 might have been the Reds.
90 was the Reds.
91, I don't really care.
Was that the Tigers or something? Or
maybe no, there was a Twins.
Yeah, Twins, yep.
Yeah.
They played the Braves that year, I think. Anyways, that's unrelated.
Beside the point. But either way, both of these teams are 30 plus years from being to this point, let alone winning it.
Yeah.
So if either of these teams can beat the Dodgers, that is a great storyline. I would argue that maybe the Seattle storyline is better, seeing as it would be the first for that team, which would have two teams in the last 3 years win their first championship.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. Whoever comes out of the AL, like, those are two starved fan bases versus the opposite of starved with the Dodgers, who literally just won last year. So
yeah. Now the Dodgers are also trying to do something historical, and though, and that has become the first team since the 98 to 2001 Yankees to win back-to-back championships.
Oh.
And so either way, you have some kind of history happening here. The Dodgers versus the Mariners, I think, has the better storyline. But getting another championship to Canada, that's huge. It would be their first since they lost one of their only teams. Like, I think there's a lot more in this that, like, you could read into it for the Jays that I think people kind of forget, because it's basically taking a country that had two teams they could root for, basically telling them, you know what, screw you, you're down to one. They do kind of get screwed over by the U.S. media a lot. People don't really talk about them as much as maybe they deserve. But they do get some credit for, and they're in one of the premier divisions. I don't know. I'm so torn. Like, this is how I'm trying to make up my decision on who I'm rooting for. And I think, I think the Mariners are edging it out for me. Like, I think I want that one to happen more. Either way, I don't want the Dodgers to win.
Yep, we're already at that stage in the dynasty, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this
No,
would be
I
their
feel that. Yeah.
this would be their third World Series in 5 years, right? 2000, 2004, 2000, or sorry, 2020, 2024, 2025.
Yeah, third and 6 years. Yep.
Yeah. So, which would be a dynasty.
It already is a dynasty, whether they win or not.
Yeah.
They've made so many of these now, like 5 in the last 9 years, I think.
They've catapulted the Cardinals with the most pennants in the National League, by a lot. Because the Cardinals were at 19, leading the National League, and I think the Dodgers are now at 23.
Yep, they've done it a lot of times.
So
yeah, no, I think I think both, whoever comes out, should be a good World Series, and the storylines for both the Jays and the Mariners are sort of similar in a lot of ways, just because they have had such a long period of time since they've made it or won. Going back to the Mariners, they've actually played in the championship series now 4 times: 1995, 2000, 2001. I think they lost to the Yankees all 3 of those other times, and that makes a lot of sense considering that they won a lot of World Series.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm rooting for the Mariners, but I won't be mad if the Jays force a Game 7.
Now
we get that tomorrow.
I'm going to make an appeal here. And this is to all of my Canadian friends and listeners. No matter what happens, root for the American League team, because either way, Canada gets a World Series ring if the American League wins.
Yeah.
Josh Naylor, the lone Canadian on the Mariners.
No, there's a second one. Matt Brash is Canadian.
Oh, Brash is Canadian? Even better.
Yeah.
That's 1/13 of the team is Canadian or Canada's team. So
yeah. Does Canada's team only have one Canadian?
well, Vladdy's Canadian.
That's what I'm saying. Is he the only Canadian
I don't
on
think
the
so.
Canadian team?
Surely not.
Who else? Who else is Canadian?
Hold on.
I don't know anything.
Hold on. I got this. I know where to find this. Blue Jays. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So who's Canada's team? I think it's the Mariners.
Well, I'm gonna guess it's still the one that plays in Canada.
Debatable.
But you're gonna get censored in the edit here, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But no, I think either way. Okay, so it is 2-0. Bunk, who's got the 2? Would that be the Jays?
Looks like the Jays are up now.
Okay. So the Jays are up 2-0 as we're recording this.
2-0.
But yeah, either way,
yeah.
it's Canada's team. I understand that you definitely want the one that's based in your city to, or based in your country for that matter, to win. It's definitely feels a little bit better. But either way, I'd call that a win. So. All right, well, we will probably be back here in 1 week from today. Is there a World Series game on Saturday? There should be game 2, right?
Yep.
So Sunday would be an off day then.
Yes.
So we will be back here in exactly 1 week from today on the off day for a World Series update. So thank you very much. We will see you guys next time. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Getaway Day Pod. If you enjoy card collecting, check out our sister YouTube channel at Getaway Day Cards.